Now, we would like to open the floor for Q&A. We have received several questions, and we would like to answer, but we have received so many, and I find it difficult to keep up with all those questions coming in. Well, there are questions as if the person has read the CFP document. We haven't announced it. Probably on the 17th of April, METI announced certain documents, CFP proposal for the smaller scale projects. Of course, the donor is METI, but UNIDO is a different entity from METI, so we do have our own CFP documents. So the CFP documents announced by on the 17th of April by METI is something different. So please don't use that because that can cause some confusion. And we have Isoyama-san for procurement service, so I can answer only within the scope, which will not be scolded by Isoyama-san. And for those questions which will be clear, which will be clarified in the CFP document, I will skip. But there are certain things which are not included in the CFP documents. So even if after you read the documents, you may come up with the same questions, and within the scope I'm allowed to answer in the demonstration, if the profit is earned during the demonstration, what would happen? That's the question. For this project, we are on the premise of going into the next stage of commercialization. So earning a profit during demonstration, there's no constraint on that, restriction on that. CFP document will not discuss this particular point.
I'm now looking for next question. And another question may not be described in the procurement document. And that question we may expect even after the document is published. And there is no constraint for that or the source of funding. So for many companies, and we believe that you should understand, but as for the companies to be proposers, and they should be only limited to the Japanese companies. Only Japanese companies can participate in the call for proposal. But there might be some questions how you can find the partners to do demonstrations. So first, you should find partners. Then you should propose for the demonstrations. So in the feasibility study stage, and you should probably you must have already decided who should be the partners of your company.
What is the definition of the business corporations? Bidders are Japanese corporations or the corporations of certain countries, but there are certain UNIDO provision to discuss or deal with this countries, and you can find this in the CFP document. Japanese companies registered in Japan and not the subsidiary of the companies registered overseas. That means purely Japanese corporations. That's one. And 100% pure Japanese corporations and this wholly owned subsidiary of that 100% pure Japanese companies registered in overseas. Those are the phrases we use in having the restriction on the scope of the countries to make call for to make proposals. Wholly owned subsidiary overseas, they can apply, but those who are not wholly owned subsidiaries, for example, joint venture of the Japanese companies and the local company, they cannot, that joint venture cannot apply for this call for proposal.
それから、はい、そうですね。あとは
And the next question is,
ちょっとお待ちください。少し読む時間をいただき
please wait for a moment because we may need some time to read the questions. And Nishio-san is on the other end of the line from Vienna. And Nishio-san has a wide variety of experiences. One of the questions is talking about the exchange of the letters between the local government. So what kind of governmental organizations we should expect to exchange the letters before the start of the demonstrations? Generally speaking, whenever UNIDO is conducting projects, and the project counterpart government organizations, so something like a METI or environment project, that might be environmental agencies in the local government. So that may be up to the nature of the project. So that may vary. And we have so many questions, so please give us some time to read some of the questions.
About the countries subject to this call for proposal, Middle Eastern countries, are they included? Yes, the answer is yes, they are included. The proportion of the outsourcing, there are questions concerning that. METI announced in April the CFP documents. We have different rules, but we have our own rules. And this will be included in our CFP documents to be released soon, which is quite different from Japan's case.
And let us go to the next one. As for the project period, project duration, how long project can be continued. So please refer to the procurement document. You should refer to the procurement document for the duration of the project and the demonstration. I may have already answered those questions. There are several questions concerning co-financing and from whom we can get the source of the co-financing. And we are not going to put any constraints or the limitations of the partners and the source of co-funding So just refer to the procurement document.
かなり初歩的なご質問をいただ
Very basic questions have been received.
今日ご説明した中に必ず
Within my presentation, answers are there. Probably at certain point in time, the sound has been interrupted. Sorry, I must have explained either I have explained today or I said that I cannot answer today, but it will be all included in CFP documents. So for those questions, please wait for the CFP documents to be released.
それはどういうものかというと、
What kind of questions I'm talking about? Large-scale demonstration, how large is it? So those are the things to be found in the CFP document to be released.
そういう感じのご質問はいくつか
So there are several questions like that.
はい。危険地域で
And another question is concerning for the demonstration projects in the potential dangerous areas and the poor security areas. There should be no constraints where to do business, but that's up to your responsibilities for the risk management. Whenever you have some demonstrations in low security countries, how you can be responsible for those risk management and what is your provisions for the risk mitigation. So you should be aware of the risk management every call for proposal. So you are supposed to describe what type of the risk management you should do, especially when you do a project in dangerous countries and low security countries. And we may make some furthermore inquiries to be more specific for the risk management.
今日ご説明した内容はビデオで
We have explained today, and the video, well, it has been recorded in a video, and then probably tomorrow or from Monday, it will be uploaded to our website. And then there's a request or questions asking for the data or documents that we use today. We are thinking of posting it on our website as well. It will take 1 or 2 days to be able to, for us to be able to do that. Please wait.
And I have picked up some of the questions, so I'd like to provide some answers to the best of my knowledge. One of them is for a bank account name, whether it should be in the English name or the Japanese name. So basically, our payment is to be based on the US dollars. So that should be a company name, which should be a receivable under the US dollars. So that's up to that principles. So that may vary depending on the legislations, but that should be the subject for the US dollar based remittance. And as for can you refer the document without any legislations? So my understanding is that first you should register and to see the contents of the procurement document. Registration is free of charge, so you do not have to pay anything. So once you have registered, and you can use that information for the future and the procurement, the projects. So my recommendation is that first you should register you into the procurement projects before referring to the details of the procurement documents. Thank you.
はい。個別の案件のご相談でこういう
There's a consultation on an individual project. This is the project we are thinking of, and does it fall under the category in the scope of this call for proposal, which technical area we want you to apply, please wait for the CFP document to be released. You will find the answer there. And earlier, I talked about the gender aspect that we want to promote. Some of the rules of UNIDO, there exists certain rules on gender initiatives and environmental impact assessment. Not only UNIDO, but almost all the ODA aid agencies have required the EIA, environmental impact assessment, to apply for the procurement. If it is a large scale facilities, it will take time. You have to take that into consideration in your planning.
I'd like to answer one of the questions. And if you go to the whole project with the subsidiaries, is it required for the subsidiaries also to be registered in the portal? That's not required. So we need a registration only by the representative company, as long as you have the core project with your subsidiaries. So if your subsidiaries and affiliate companies are involved, you do not have to worry about the registrations for those companies as well.
Naturally, this is a large-scale demonstration. It's not only one company, but maybe you may set up the consortium in making proposal. We understand that. Well, this is before the call for proposal is open, but in generally speaking, if there's a consortium, the representative or lead company, one single company, should apply or bid. And this representative leading company will conclude contract with UNIDO. So all those written in the contract, the implementation of that contract is on the shoulder of that leading company or representative company of the consortium. Then if you set up the consortium, and within that consortium, there may be a burden sharing. The contractor or the person who filed the application is only one, but within the consortium, there can be a division of labor, which may affect the demonstration's progress. So there should be a clear definition of the division of the roles or division of labor within the consortium to be conveyed to us.
And the next question. During the project or the demonstration period is over, and some of the assets are acquired through UNIDO, the projects. And if you are to resell those assets to the other parties, that content is also covered by the procurement document. May not be the same rules for the METI, but please refer to the procurement document when what is the requirements for the asset sales after the project is over. Thank you.
磯山さん、すみません。
Isoyama-san,
一つご質問がいただいている中に、
there's this one question I received, and
大きな商社さんなんだと思うんですけど、
it seems like a major trading house. It's a large
いろん
company,
な部署がありますと。
and various departments are there.
部署ごとに
And each department or division,
どうしてもいいものなんでしょうか。
is it possible for each department to apply for e-procurement? To register, I'm sorry. Registration, that's fine for each division, but if you are to bid for this call for proposal, the department in charge of that particular project should get registered, basically, and then participate in the bid. If it is one single proposal from a company, there should be one single department in charge, and that can take care of the whole proposal.
はい。はい特に今、海外からご質問いただいている方
We have some questions from the overseas companies, and some of the common nature of those questions is that the Japanese companies will do the demonstration projects and so as to promote innovation. That's the principle of this procurement programs. So the applicants should be a Japanese company. So whenever you participate in the demonstration projects, first you should find a Japanese cooperation partner so as to address your local issues and problems. And if you have set up some specific agendas, that's how you should work together with the Japanese company.
Isayama-san, ご質問
Isoyama-san,
来てますけれども、
I have another question here.
ウィーンと日本では時
In Vienna and Japan, there are time differences. If you use the e-procurement, what is the opening time of the e-procurement for the CFP? Office hour. That's the answer. But the closing time, Vienna, Austria time, 5 p.m. or 12. Well, I think it's local time that we are thinking of. For this project, and our main bidders would be Japanese. So if necessary, we must accommodate Japanese time zone, but it's a 7-hour time difference between Japan and Vienna. And so if we take the local time here, I'm sure in a Japanese business day, they can apply and use the e-procurement portal in Vienna within the Japanese business day working time.
大変いい、ユニドの資金を得て実証を
And after getting the fund from the UNIDO and the duration of the project, that's up to the request and the preference by the donors. So that should be stated in the procurement document. That might be some specific years. But if you fail to complete the project within the specified duration of the demonstration projects, how it is to be evaluated, whether or not that's the subject for the extension, So,
内容をご
first, you should come up with the proposals which can be completed within the demonstration period and the specific durations. And after them, and we will also make sure what type of business plans you are going to have after the demonstration projects. So, commercialization plan that should be based on what type of demonstration projects should be completed before that. So that's how you should be prepared and to work. So you can come back to the questions if I fail to completely answer your questions.
決して何年間かの
It is not that within a certain number of years, even if the demonstration doesn't be completed within that time frame, there's no penalty. But we only look at, well, the subject or the target of a financial support is the demonstration defined in a certain period of time. But after that, you can use your own money for the demonstration. Beyond that, that's fine before commercialization. And we welcome such earnest proposal.
現地パートナーですが、
And as to the local partner in the overseas countries,
応募をしていただける方は日本企業ですと。日本
and as I said, only the Japanese companies can apply for the call for proposal.
ピュアな日本の会社
And I talked about the definitions. Pure Japanese companies are registered in Japan,
登録されて
or
100%日本の子会社
100% subsidiaries of a company registered in the overseas countries with a Japanese fund.
現地の
That's for the qualifications for participate in the
ということは申し上げておりません。もちろん
demonstration projects. So the local companies can be the local companies, pure local companies. There is no constraints for a percentage of the funding by the Japanese companies when you have the co-project.
経済産業省さんが出された公募
METI announced the CFP documents. Maybe you influenced some of the questions that looks like they are influenced by that. But in my presentation today,
はいユニドの公募要領のプロ
I talked about UNIDO's own CFP documents,
異なりますので
which is different from Japanese government CFP documents. So if your questions are on the basis of the Japanese CFP documents, I will not answer. Allow me to skip those questions today.
すみません、ちょっと読ませていただいております。
I'm sorry, I'm taking time to read over so many questions.
はい現地のパートナー企業
Local partner companies.
パートナーを組んで実
If there's a partnership for demonstration,
一体誰が応募者になるのかっていうこと
and who is going to bid or propose? There are several questions on this. I feel I have answered several times, but allow me to do again. But you can choose any local partners. There's no restraint or constraints. Good partner, local partners would be the one you want to explore. But at the same time, as you make proposal to UNIDO, applicants should be Japanese companies only. if it is a co-applicant, it's not a co-applicant. There should be one single leading company as an applicant for this time's call for proposal.
to なぜ ASEAN が対象にならないのかということで、はい、
The question is why ASEAN is out of the scope. That's up to the request from the METI because that's based on that. And the UNIDO is to be engaged in this project. So please refer to the furthermore details with the METI why and the definition of the scopes of the company subject for the support.
アジアでの経験はたくさんあるが、
Even though we may have some experience in the Asian nations, but yet to have a commercialization experience in the African nations, can we apply for the call for proposal? The answer is yes. You can apply for the project without any past experience of the commercialization in the African nations. But whenever you do some the new business in a new country, and you should go through a feasibility study. And as the result of the feasibility study, and there might be some items you should verify after visiting those local countries.
現地でこういう実証が必要だと。なので、こういう実証
So based on feasibility studies, and you may come up with the sum of the scope of the demonstration projects. It does not mean that you cannot apply for the call for proposal without any experience in certain areas in African nations. So I think that you are more experts than me for the risk management and some of the feasibility studies and to conduct new business in a new market. So that's up to your planning capabilities. So from our standpoint, and in my presentation, I came up with only one request. And the Japanese companies may focus more or less in the Asian nations. Please be sure to focus on the other areas and including African nations. I'm not supposed to lead your proposals to a specific nations, but our sincere request.
Very specific question have been received, and which sometimes goes beyond my imagination. It's difficult to answer. Without consortium, a single company can make a proposal, that's possible. But the local partner, even without the local partners, is it possible to make a proposal? Please demonstrate to us the reason why you don't need local partner. It's not that we negate the participation without local partner, but you have to identify why.
And Isoyama-san, proposals should be written in the US dollars, but they may come up with plans. So what is the standard rate you should refer to? That the exchange rate can be determined by applicant company. For us, we do not take into account the proposal based on the Japanese yen. So whatever the currency you may use, so that should be in the specified, the certified the currency. But our contract is based on the payment in US dollar denomination. So the forex rate that should be set up for the individual basis. So I have 2 more minutes, and I'd like to entertain just 1 or 2 questions.
Related to the previous question, UNIDO, in payment and the fund we offer will be all in US dollars. You have to hold a US dollar account. Is my answer correct, Mr. Isayama? All right. There's one more I can take before we close. How are you going to form a consortium? Who are going to participate? What kind of division of roles will be? Well, we don't have any constraints on that. The important thing is for the demonstrations to proceed smoothly. But when you set up the consortium, when UNIDO makes a contract, conclude a contract with a single leading company, and this leading company is responsible for implement the contract with UNIDO. So the person who makes the contract, to conclude a contract, is only Japanese companies.
So I have read out the final questions just now. So I believe that we answered most of the questions, mainly because that will be written in the procurement document, or some other questions might be directly related to the METI, the documents. So that we cannot provide any answers. So after the start of the procurement projects, please go to the e-procurement and please upload the questions in English. And as to the answers to those questions can be browsed by anyone as long as you registered in the e-procurement. And as to the answers to e-procurement questions, we may judge who should be addressed. If the nature of the question should be shared with every participating organizations, that might be broadcast in the e-procurement. It does not mean that all of the questions is to be shared by everyone. So that's up to our decisions. So if there is any information which should be shared by everyone, and we are going to share those answers as well in the e-procurement site. So that's the completion of the Q&A session. Thank you very much.
それでは以上で説明会
Thank you. This concludes the online briefing session. Thank you very much for your participation.